We're back with more of the Rock Lounge.
We got commercials?
We got let me just take a little break because they got to check cameras and tapes and all that stuff. It's gonna be, we could edit it for 2 episodes, or we could
do one
long one.
Oh, okay.
But I still got my brother from another mother in the building.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ruben Paul. I want to talk. Let's get some more questions. What do you think? How do you feel about the current state of stand-up comedy? What do you think can be helped? What can be fixed? What
Damn,
left
dude.
alone? What?
I mean, that's such a loaded question.
Yeah, I know.
Are you talking about artistically? You talking about the game?
Let's talk about the game first.
Okay.
Let's talk about the business of it first, and then talk about the people. The artist.
Well, the business, I think the unfortunate thing, the fortunate and fortunate thing, I think is this. I think social media has changed the game forever.
I agree.
And I think that is a good thing, and I think it's a bad thing. Well, could it be both?
What's good about it?
I think the good thing is you don't have to rely on Hollywood to discover you or people to find you. You can really trailblaze your own
I don't know.
path.
Maybe you don't need to rely on Hollywood to develop your fan base.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I mean.
You got to, because Hollywood's
ultimately they have to buy.
regardless.
Yeah. They have to exactly to get you on that large platform. But I do think it's a good thing to be able to develop your fan base like that and not be dependent on, because back in the day, someone would have to see you and put you on, and then you'd get on TV and you'd do movies, and then you'd get exposure. Now you got people becoming famous off of a clip on YouTube.
I like it. I like that there are guys that have 1 million followers on Instagram from funny videos. I don't like that they think, oh, now I'll do stand-up.
Okay. Now I
don't like that.
Now I said it's a good and a bad thing. The bad thing is this.
It's like, to me,
okay.
I said in the interview once, somebody asked me about it. I have nothing against, I call them the 15-second guys.
Yeah.
I have nothing against the 15-second guys. Some of that stuff very creative. Some of that stuff very fucking funny. I follow some of the best ones.
Yeah.
I laughed hard at those guys.
Yeah, same here.
Now, because of that, they want to do stand-up.
Yes.
It's a whole different thing. It's like comparing someone that works at Wolfgang Puck and somebody that works at Waffle House.
Yeah.
You can't call them both chefs.
Yeah.
This guy's a chef. You're a cook.
Yeah, it's a difference.
Okay? I'm a chef.
Yeah, I studied, I trained.
I know the difference between bouillabaisse and vichyssoise. I know how to make pate.
Yeah.
You crack an egg, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Put it on some heat. Bam.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I got nothing against y'all because I got nothing against cooks.
Yeah.
I love Waffle House.
Yeah.
Nigga, I'm classically trained.
Exactly.
That's all.
Yeah, and I guess the flip side, well, not the flip side to it, the other part of what I was saying, the good and bad thing is, with the instant fame without putting in the work, it gives the public a skewed version of what exactly of what we do.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part. And then for guys like me and you take advantage of social media more than I do.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get better at it. Shout out Dior. You got to have a team with cats.
You got to have some cats.
You got to have some cats to do it for you.
You got to have a dude with a camera that knows how to fucking operate that
Come on, son.
You got to know how to edit and know how to get it up quickly.
Yeah.
I got my guy. We taped something September 1st. I have not gotten the footage yet, but that's a whole other discussion.
That's a whole other thing. But that's why I'm constructing a new team.
Yeah.
So with that, if you are on top of that and you get all this attention and whatever, it's really quick to be overshadowed. So it's almost like a sink or swim scenario.
Right.
Like you have to make that adjustment. I've had conversations with other comics who are like, forget social media. I don't give a damn about social media. I'm about this pen game, this and that. And it's like, yeah, that's great. But now no one's going to see you.
Right. It's another
and that's
component,
the problem.
It's another component that we have to pay attention to.
Yeah, because here's the thing.
Whether we like it or not.
The thing that's hard for me to wrap around my brain is industry don't come out and see you no more.
Like, but you know what? Industry wants to know, how many Twitter followers does he have?
Man, listen.
If you in the office, they're in agencies right now in Hollywood talking about so-and-so, and somebody in the room has a pad and a pen, they're going to say, how many Instagram followers does he have?
Absolutely.
And that's almost like your relevancy is based on that.
And it's a knife in the gut.
Right.
I've been in rooms lately
Right.
where they'll sit up there and they'll you feel bad because they're almost pleading with you. They're like, Ruben, you don't know this, but I've been watching you and this and that, and you're hilarious and this. But you got to get your Twitter followers up because I want to take you into these people. But that's what they're going to ask me.
When I'm on the radio, when I'm on the road, and people, I'm on the local radio station in whatever city, and they're like, tell people what they can expect tonight, and what's the show going to be about. And I say, listen, man, it's the best stand-up show that you've never seen.
Yeah.
It's the best stand-up show. You've seen the What Now tour. You've seen whoever else is the Black and Brown.
Yeah.
You've seen whatever. I'm telling you, my show's better. It's just that y'all don't know it because I don't have 1 million Twitter followers and people going, yo, he's a beast. Da, da, da.
That's the thing.
I stand by the work.
But you know what's interesting? It's and this is no knock on, because some people are popular and legitimately popular and they've earned it. Like
absolutely.
They're skill-wise great at what they do.
Yeah.
But you know what's interesting is you'll see there'll be a situation where people will come and see you and go, damn, man, never heard of you before, but you're really...
Yo.
Like, why aren't you a star? Then they start questioning, like, what's wrong with you?
Yes.
Like, that's the thing that kind of hurts. I go, hey, well, I don't, like, what's wrong? Like, why aren't you more, like, what are you?
I was in Orlando, Florida at the Improv. Show's over. Young lady comes up to me after the show and says, I got 2 compliments that stay in my mind from the day I started doing stand-up. This was one of them. She walked up to me and said, I think the whole world is sleeping on you.
Wow, that's a great compliment.
I think the whole world is sleeping on you. I was like, son, blown away. Like, damn, thank you so much. And she's like, I go to comedy clubs all the time.
Yeah, man.
I come here all the time. I've seen the names that they, because they promote certain people differently.
Of course, absolutely.
The names that they promote, and they on every radio station, and I see it in the magazine. I come to see those people, and I'm not going to say no names. And she's like, I watched the show, and it's like, wow, okay, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'm watching you on stage, this guy I never knew about, didn't hear was in town, just came here because I support stand-up comedy, and you were better than everybody I've seen.
And when you get those type of compliments, and I'm not on no...
The other one was an old black man, Cleveland, Ohio. Young man, I've never said this to another comic before. I'm sitting there watching you, and I said, he's a young Richard Pryor.
You know, it's crazy.
I was boom.
Well, that's the ultimate compliment that you can get. And I had somebody tell me, especially when I've made this transition in my comedy, he goes, hey, man, he goes, how you talk about your life and your family and all these things. And, I go in as far as personal stuff that people might not want to talk about. And he goes, that's Pryor S type stuff, man. And he goes, I've been watching comedy for a long time. And he was like, just keep doing what you're doing. And that's one thing that me and you used to always say, and another motto I live by, this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Not a sprint, man.
And however long it takes you to make it is however long it takes you to make it.
Right.
But then I had to
And people don't see the 26 miles you run. They just see you cross the finish line.
Exactly. And I had
They see it from wherever they're standing. You see how people watch a marathon?
Yeah.
You can only see it from where you're standing. You see mile 1, like, okay, he made mile 1.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody at mile 10 is like, oh, he bust his ass.
Yeah.
Somebody at mile 15 is like, oh, the nigga just threw up. So you can only see it from where you're standing.
Yeah.
Your perception of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I had to redefine what, like, success is. Now, my dreams are still my dreams, and those ain't changing. I want it all.
Right.
You know what I mean? On a big level. But to walk around and act like I haven't achieved anything or I'm not successful, because sometimes if we don't have the TV show, if we're not a movie star, if we ain't got $1 million in the savings account, we're somehow not successful. And I really used to believe that for a long time until you start meeting people and start talking to your friends. Like, you start taking so much for granted. And then you realize the fact that I haven't worked a job in almost 20 years is a blessing, and it's successful. And the fact that I've done comedy all over the world, that I performed on TV, that I have done movies. Now, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm grateful for what I've accomplished. So to me, it's more so of just being grateful and then taking that and letting that fuel me to achieve.
Vision, man. People get caught up so much in looking further ahead that they don't even realize they stand in You know, like, wow, look at where I'm at.
Yeah.
Or to look back and say, look how far I've come.
And that's why we can't focus on what everybody else is doing.
I tell people all the time, and I say it. I say it purposely. I say it to sound cocky on purpose.
Yeah.
Because I want people to grasp it. I say, man, I'm so on my own dick.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what nobody else doing.
What nobody else is doing, dude.
And it's not a knock. It's just I want you to understand what I'm saying. Like, I'm so
into me on what I'm trying to do.
Like, what I'm doing, I don't got no time for, yo, did you hear so-and-so? I didn't hear nothing about it.
And I wish everybody success, and I don't see that in this game.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody.
I don't even know if you answered the question I asked, but
no. What was the question? I'm sorry. You don't mean you go off a tell.
The state of the game.
Oh, the state of the game.
Yeah,
but I just said it was the good thing. It was, I think, social media and the business aspect. I think it's
good and bad.
It was good and bad. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
But it's me and you, dude.
So
We're gonna go on and on.
Stand-up comedy-wise, you worked with a lot of great people.
Yeah.
Who were some of the comics that you worked with that was like an absolute pleasure to work with?
Aside from Russell Peters?
From show to after the show to before the show to...
Dude, it's just, I get so much out of every situation, even from the assholes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I've worked with some assholes. I think you could...
I work with some assholes.
You too.
Yeah.
But you can learn from it all, dude. You know, a lot of people don't really know my story. When I first started doing comedy, I hadn't even been doing comedy maybe 6 months a year. I was touring with Jamie Foxx before I should have been.
How'd that come about?
Yvette Wilson, him seeing me at a club, and then the promoter. It was just like one of those things that just happened where this promoter. Shout out to Lionel B.
Lionel B, yes.
Big shout out, Bay Area production, who was known, one of the pioneers of black comedy.
The homie, shout out.
He's one of the pioneers of doing live black comedy shows. He started producing, from Robin Harris, Damon Wayans, back in the day when me and you was in high school. He was in the game. He saw me, took a liking to me, referred me to open up a show in Oakland that Jamie Foxx was headlining. And Marcus King was managing Jamie.
Shout out to King, Apollo Live.
And King knew me, and it was kind of a perfect storm. And then Fox had heard my name, and I had one of the best sets you can possibly have in front of 2,000 people. And he was like, yo, man, you want to do some more dates? And I was like, absolutely, I want to do some more dates. And those more dates turned into almost 2 years of touring with him.
Wow. Isn't it great, those sets that you have on those nights when all the stars are aligned and it just changes your life?
It just, and these things change your life. But the thing that blows me away about working with these guys, I'm so humbled, and I've had to learn, me and you've had this conversation, to own this stuff. Because sometimes I don't even realize how I ended up doing some of the things. Like, I never set out to write for people or to collab for people like that. Like, me and you, we homies like, yo, Rube, when you say this, our tone. Right. You know what I mean? Right. As friends.
Or even writing on the show.
Exactly.
So, I had a show. I had a show called the Tony Rock Project.
Yes.
That was that I apologized for. Initially, it started out. It was supposed to be my version of a Chappelle show. I wanted to do a very push the envelope, risque stand-up sketch comedy show.
Yeah.
The network had agreed to let me do that, and then once we started shooting, they turned it into something else. So what you see with the finished product was the pieces I had left. After they took everything away, you can't say this, you can't do this, you can't imply that. What I was left with, I made a show of.
Yeah.
The producers on the show didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They hired people without consulting me. People I didn't want to work with, who I ultimately became friends with. Whitney Cummings was a good friend of mine now, who I did not hire. John Heffron, who they hired, I did not hire him, but he's a good friend of mine now. So I said, I'm going to walk off the set. I'm going to walk from my own. The show was named the Tony Rock Project.
Then he called in the cleaner. Then you called in the cleaner.
What do you need for us to continue doing the show? And I said, I need my brother Ruben on this show. They brought Ruben as a consultant. I wouldn't talk to anybody else on the set except Ruben.
This was crazy because no one had ever seen that side of you before. No one has seen the asshole side.
When it's funny, I stand by it. I want it done correctly.
And you know what? I
believe in it.
Exactly. I mean? And sometimes you have to be that way to get the best out of the people. It's just like a coach in sports. Sometimes your coach is going to yell at you and get you in your ass because he wants the best out of you. But no one had seen that side of Tony before. So I'm laughing because I'm like, oh, y'all don't know this dude is crazy? Like, I'm with him almost y'all Tony's really introducing himself to these people. This nigga is an asshole. So he brought me in, and it was a very uncomfortable position because it's almost like, what's the analogy I can give? It's it's like the team has been practicing, and they getting ready for the first game, and then your coach comes in and goes, "Hey, we just got a new starting quarterback." And like,
pretty much,
you know what I mean? It's like,
much,
then I come in, and it was just awkward, but it ended up being a cool working relationship because I just knew how to navigate.
It was like a band, like, hey, we got a new bass player, y'all. Everybody's like, we don't know this nigga. No,
exactly.
New bass player.
So I came in, and I learned a lot through that experience.
It was great, yeah.
One, I never knew I could write a joke that fast because sometimes Tony would look at it and go, right before we shooting, man, I ain't saying that shit. And I go, what do you mean you're not? Dude, we're, like, there's an audience out there. Like, yo, dude, you got to fix that. And you were paying me so well, I was like,
and he would literally,
well, I got to fix it. And I'd be like, all right, I'll be back.
I learned a lot. But the one thing I learned from that experience, which I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
I will never, ever, ever again in my career, that was the one time I did it, and I will never do it again, did something for the check.
Yeah, I agree.
When I took the meetings and they told me how much I'm going to make and how many episodes we're going to do, and I started doing the numbers in my head, it was like, shit, I'm going to get X amount of dollars. And that's all I kept thinking about. Yeah. And then when they told me, you can't say this, you can't do this, you can't show this, you can't, no, that won't fly, network won't clear that, I was still like, X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
Then I was like, all right, I'm going to walk because I can't believe in this. What you want? I want Rube on the show. Boom, X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
And the finished product sucked in some small part because I was focused on the X amount of dollars instead of the finished product. So I take fault for what it ended up being as well, but it was also really done dumb, and I didn't have a lot of.
But I think we both learned a lot. I think the show wasn't what you wanted it to be or even what I wanted it to be. Right. But I think, working together, we knew we could work together. That's what we really figured out.
Oh, yeah. That's when I knew. Like my grandfather always said, 2 heads are better than one, even if it's your head and a goat head. I knew if I ever need another head, I'm calling Rube.
And just to come in and really not having been put in that situation before, but that you had that much trust in me to go in there and do it, and the fact that I delivered, in that situation, because a lot of times I was taking jokes that were submitted and then had to rewrite it or even come up with a different joke altogether, and knowing I had the skill set to do that. And then we had a cool shorthand where, like, all right, well, this is what this is about, so we just have to write a joke about this, and that ultimately helped me in stand-up of working from a theme. Right. Because when you work from a theme, this is easy. This is a comedy trick that most comics should know if they don't know. When you write from a theme, when you have something to say, I guess it's for comics who want to say something.
You know what? Go ahead. I'm going to let you finish that. But I saw something the other night that falls right in line with what you're saying.
So just knowing that, just sharpening that skill for me, and I incorporated that because I want to be a comic that makes you laugh and think. Right. So especially, and it's easier to write if you go, okay, this is about how the economy is messed up because of whatever. So you can write 20 jokes on that if you know what the overall theme is.
I was in a hotel in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania last weekend. Shout out to Pittsburgh. And I watched Wanda Sykes' special, Let Me Be Me. Man. Wanda Sykes, my mentor for the people that don't know. Man. And her whole set was a theme. Yeah. It was the world's change. It was life's changing. It was like, I'm going through some changes in my life. It was a bit, not even a bit. It was like 10 minutes on my personal life is changing. Married. Yes. I came out. I have children. Yes. Boom. Then she would say the theme again, like, because, things are just changing. And, my life is, I'm getting older now. My body's changing. And it was a bit about women don't have, like, men, Viagra. Like, men are so conscious with keeping a heart on that even old men are, taking these pills now. And women don't have that. And there was a bit about her life changing in that regard. Yeah. Then it was, the world's just changing. And the world's changing. Yeah. And it was politics. And I'm like, damn, this is one fucking theme for our special, yo. Yeah. And then it was like, and she would keep resonating that same line, like, it's just all change, everything's just changing. So my life is changing now. I'm in a different place, and my body's changing, and now my family's changing, and then it was boom, a bit about and I'm like, oh shit, it's one theme to the whole thing. Yeah, and when you watch great stand-up, you can take Wanda's and you can go into other great stand-ups, and most great stand-ups work from a theme. So even at that time when me and you were working together, even though I knew that instinctually, to have that, like, in your face, like, all right, this is what this is about. We got to get these jokes out within the next 15 to 20 minutes.
it really sharpens that skill. And speaking of themes, I know for me right now, the theme of my hour is you can't judge a book by its cover. And that goes from me being born and raised in America, but my family's from Haiti, me going to these other places and people assume things about these countries that are not true, or any person just in society. You can't look at somebody and just assume you know everybody's life story or what they're about or how they feel about things. So that's really what permeates through my whole set. It's something that I'm passionate about because I feel
and
like
when you're passionate about it, I think you write better material.
Absolutely.
I think if it's really in you, the material is going to just be... I was watching Wanda like, man, that shit is funny as fuck because it's true and she's really giving you a piece of her.
Exactly.
Like my life's... I didn't make this bit up about getting married and coming out and having kids. This shit really happened.
But isn't it something that... Because, like, how great that special was, and if you guys haven't seen that special, you need to see.
Yes.
Because she had something to say. And I remember hearing older comics, you know, back in the day, like, yo, when are you going to do this? I don't really have nothing to say right now.
Right.
And my mind go, just write some jokes.
Right.
But I didn't know what they were talking about. I was like, yo, this is what I'm feeling right now. This is what I'm having to say.
Watch that one and any George Carlin special.
Yeah.
They're all theme all the way through.
Yeah. And getting back to the comics that I've worked with, it still humbles me to this day when these comics that I've looked up to and admired will call and ask me my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll be like, I could name drop, but like when some of these comics, whether it's a Cedric the Entertainer or George Lopez or even Russell or even you, and be like, hey man, what do you think about this? And sometimes I'll be talking to George or like, yo, I learned this from watching you, but you know, you guys see something in me like, yeah, nah, dude, like.
You got the gift.
You got the gift. Like, come on, man. Like, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, well, do this, that. This should go here. This should go here. Structure, I think, is really my strong suit. I can write jokes, but to me, is if you can get the structure down, jokes are easy. When you're talking about somebody who's personal, autobiographical, or somebody who's talking about real stuff. Now, I love all types of comedy. I love slapstick. I love physical. Yeah. You know, I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I'm attracted to comics who reveal things about themselves.
I want you to give me something that's going to resonate with me.
Yes.
I want to laugh and I want to think.
Yes.
I want to be able to laugh. I want to be able to hear your material and laugh, not even having to see you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I put a Richard Pryor DVD on. I put Live on Sunset Strip. I could be in the kitchen washing dishes. I'm dying laughing.
Yeah.
He paints such a vivid picture.
Yeah.
The material's so strong. His point of view is so strong. I don't have to see it. Some cats, you got to be looking at them to laugh. It's just all, then what the hell? Ooh.
Exactly.
Like, I can't see it.
If they're not making the face or doing the jig, you're not laughing. But that to me, that's great comedy. Mm-hmm. You know, for you to be able to, and you got to stand. Pryor was describing a world that Middle America had no idea existed, and we're still laughing at it. You know, and I know when I started doing international comedy, it was another thing there's a number of things that forced me to do it. But the fact that I was performing in these other countries, it made me more personal because I felt like, all right, the human story is going to be the universal story.
Right. It will always be the universal story.
Exactly, because we're all human. And the fact that my family is from Haiti and yours is from China or yours is from Ireland or yours is from the U.S. or Africa or whatever, they're still fathers, they're still mothers, they're still brothers, they're still sisters, they're still girlfriends. And as long as I described my journey as best as I could and used the tools in my toolbox, that's why I could perform in the Middle East and be doing Haitian material, and it's destroying because
crazy?
It's my story.
You want to hear something crazy? My brother did Kill the Messenger.
Mm-hmm.
It was, they did 3 specials: London, Apollo,
South Africa. Yeah.
The idea came,
and I played the place that he played in South Africa.
Did you really?
Too. Yeah.
The idea came. He's in a cab with Nelson, his best friend Nelson George. Shout out Nelson George.
Shout out Nelson George.
They're talking about his wife or whatever, and he says something like, because your wife doesn't think that blah blah blah. Oh, nobody's wife would think this. And the cab driver turned around and said, oh my goodness, I was telling my friends that the other day, your wife does not think that you know.
Yeah.
And he said, oh shit,
it's the same everywhere.
I'm
dude.
taking this shit to Africa.
Yeah.
And that was the idea. The seed that sprouted the whole Kill the Messenger was that cab driver said, I agree, my wife doesn't get it either.
Yeah.
And he was like, what the fuck? Like, this shit's I'm going to Africa.
It's a human story, man.
The human story is always...
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't have to know about Decatur.
You have to know the person.
Yeah.
The story... Everybody has a girlfriend. They go, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if this shit gonna work.
Exactly.
In any language.
Everybody has an irresponsible friend or the crazy uncle or this. Like, we all have those aspects of our family.
Friend that they got to bail out or,
Yeah.
What you say? You're helping them by hurting them? You're hurting them by helping them?
Yeah.
You're hurting them by
helping them.
Man. It's like everybody
got a lot of those.
Yeah.
You need money to have. I don't have money to hurt a lot of my friends. I help who I can, but...
Man, listen, we can literally, and people say this all the time, we can literally sit here and talk all day.
We can, because I feel like we haven't even covered.
We didn't get into shit.
We didn't even cover anything.
But this is the show, man. This is the Rock Lounge. You can come by anytime.
Well, I'm coming back.
Hit me. Just even when I have somebody else in, if you want to just stop by and
I will stop by because we didn't talk about. I'm shooting a special at the end of February that I'm excited about.
Please run it all down real quick. In this February, you're shooting a special.
Shooting a special. I can't announce exactly where yet, but it's going to be some.
Hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be something. It's going to be a special. Some people, me and Tony say, some people special ain't special.
Some people special ain't special.
But this special is going to be special for a lot of reasons. And we're close to cutting this deal, and once it's cut, I can talk about it.
Absolutely.
But I'm excited about that, and then just working on the
New
road.
Year, what's New Year?
New Year's Eve, I'll be at the House of Comedy in Arizona.
Okay.
Doing that the week of New Year's Eve and on New Year's Eve. I'll be with George Lopez at Tommy T's. I think October 21st and 22nd.
Which one? Pleasanton or
Pleasanton.
Okay.
And then, or you just go to RubenPaul.com. I post all my dates, but I'm doing a couple more dates with Russell and then doing a bunch of dates on my own. And I'm just excited about 2016.
RubenPaul.com for tour dates. I am Ruben Paul on Twitter and Instagram.
Absolutely.
If you're in LA, he's at the Laugh Factory all the time. I am Tony Rock on Twitter, Tony_Rock on Instagram, because some asshole took Tony Rock. Or you can go to TonyRockComedy.com.
Somebody took Ruben Paul too, man. Like
TonyRockComedy.com. Follow me on everything. It's my brother, literally my brother from another mother, man. Ruben Paul. I love this dude.
Love you too, boy.
I wish you all the best and nothing but success to you, man. You one of the good guys in the business, and I think that's why we friends. Because like you're a true, genuine dude, and even on some other outside of comedy shit, like I said, we boxing fans, we hip hop fans, and we'll chop up about all that stuff after this. But
who you got? Wait, who you got? Cotto and Canelo.
Oh, we got to talk. And I didn't care for the Floyd Berto fight.
Oh, come on.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it.
I didn't either.
Anyway, Rock Lounge, y'all. We'll see y'all in the next episode. Y'all be cool. Peace.
Peace.